And we are recording.
I'll tell you, he looked at my car for me.
He was driving in when I
Okay. All right, I'd like to welcome everybody to the Nipissing Township Museum Board meeting, Wednesday, September the 6th, 2023. It is now 6:30 p.m. Is there any disclosure of pecuniary interest? Okay, that's seen. We'll move on to the first motion. Motion to approve the minutes of the board meeting held August 2nd, 2023. Sorry?
Yeah.
Dave and moved by Gladys. Okay, look. This is a motion number 2023-28, moved by ABM, seconded by Gladys Bateman, that we approve the minutes of Nipissing Township Museum Board held August 2nd, 2023, as presented. All in favor?
Debbie, just as a point of order, when we're approving the minutes for that meeting, if you have a question about the minutes, then that's when you ask.
The previous meeting. Okay.
Okay. So next item on the agenda, a discussion. Oh, sorry.
Start right there.
Sorry. Discussion, the Heritage Day report and Fall Fest planning discussion. So we'll start with the Heritage Day report.
Jillian was supposed to be here, and she was at the museum, so I'm not sure what happened.
She was when I came back.
Yeah, it might be that the power went out and that she doesn't realize so I did text her.
Maybe she thinks it's at 7 instead of 6:30.
Could be, I'm not sure. We spoke earlier, so I'm not sure. I did hand out a budget update to all the members. So we'll go over that for the special events from for the Heritage Day. We made $1,261. That was from the silent auction and from the barbecue revenues.
So
That's this one, Debbie.
This one right here?
Yep.
Okay.
um,
Oh, right there. Okay, I see it. Yeah.
before we get into this, before we get into this, I would
Oh,
like
special
to
event.
yeah.
Okay.
thank Debbie for stepping up to the museum board.
Welcome.
Welcome aboard,
Yes,
Debbie.
Thank you.
Does everybody know Debbie Renner?
No, we don't know her, right, Mary?
Okay, so no introductions needed. Okay, we can carry back on with this.
The Heritage Day was a success. Just looking at the expenses, like I say, Jillian has all the numbers, so I'm not really sure about that. We spent $825 on different things, and that also includes the entertainment for Fall Fest is out of that line right now as well. So we're well lined up for Fall Fest, and it was well attended.
Okay, so just the stuff in brackets is all costs that would have been.
That's what's left in the budget to use up.
Okay,
Mhm.
all right.
We're definitely under budget, so it's good. Yeah, we won't ever complain about that.
Okay, so do I need,
There's no resolution for it.
Oh,
There's
okay.
no motion for it. It was just for discussion for Fall Fest planning. We have all of our volunteers lined up.
yeah,
I'm doing the bake sale table.
I'm doing the hardware store again.
I don't know what I'm doing yet, but I'll.
I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
She hasn't told me what I'm doing.
No.
I told her I could make something
Yeah.
or something like that. She didn't.
Oh, here she comes.
There she
I
is.
told
Very
her
good.
whatever I
Right
don't
here,
know what they
Steve.
have
You can
there.
sit at the computer there if you like, and I brought you some paperwork too.
So what time? 10:30, 11 o'clock, show up time?
It starts at 11, am I correct?
Yes.
So,
Okay, so
Yeah.
if we were there by 10:30, we would probably be fine.
yeah,
10:30 for setup for the Fall Fest, Jillian? I'm going to be there from 9 till probably at least 10, possibly longer. If people can come earlier, that'd be great, just because
Okay.
it'll be easier than me
So
trying to leave instructions.
Anytime after 9 then?
It's these,
We only have one of our students
yes,
for the Fall Fest,
Who do we have?
Raina.
Raina.
Karina? Okay,
So she'll be in the store doing the cash.
all right. And I'll have a hardware store.
So,
Dave will be available
crowd
wherever,
control.
crowd control,
He's our clerk.
and Gladys will be his backup,
Okay.
okay.
just if they get out of hand.
What is
Our students are officially done for the season,
Yeah.
so we don't have, Jillian's been
You go.
filling in.
Sunday?
I'm
I do
not
still need
totally sure
someone
yet,
to
but,
take on the church.
Just,
What do you need to?
I just need someone to
If
be
I
in the
can, I will.
church and to respond to questions from visitors. There's gonna be some activities that involve some of the artifacts and displays in the church. I will have a cheat
I was
sheet.
gonna say, I'll do
But
it,
I-
but I need a cheat sheet.
You want me to do it? Yes, please.
Okay.
I'm very religious. I spend every time in the church.
Yeah, and there will be a cheat sheet for the activities and things like that.
Okay, I'm Debbie, do you have me down?
You're gonna do the ring toss if that's okay.
Okay,
And again, that will involve some knowledge of what's in the displays in the museum, and I'll have a cheat sheet.
you have
for
a
you
cheat
too.
sheet? Okay.
I'm doing the hatchet juggling.
The hatchet juggling.
Yes.
Okay.
So you want me there like 9:30? Is that right?
If that's okay.
Yeah, that's fine. I just need to know. Yeah.
And I do know from past experience that the vendors, although we've said 10 AM, a lot of them will come
Come
earlier
early.
than that. And so if they have questions, you guys can.
how many vendors were you able to get?
We have about 15. I'm still waiting on confirmation from 3. One of them is wondering about a power outlet, but I'm not sure if they have their own power source and they would just like an outlet if it's available. And I'm still needing to talk to someone who I think applied to a different market. And did you hear from Sarah about the hot dogs? Because I still haven't got a form back.
I will take care of that
Thank you.
right now,
Who's gonna cook?
Sarah.
Okay,
Also, does she need an outlet for the hot dog stand or is it
Nope,
an
no,
independent?
it's
Okay,
totally autonomous.
perfect.
We'll need an outlet for the big
Yes,
table.
I was gonna plug you guys into
For
the
the
hardware
coffee.
store.
That'll work.
I bake cookies for the grandkids. They think I'm wonderful, but
We got the baking, okay, we're good.
we need to talk first.
We do, yes, we do. So just as an update, on Saturday, Steve and Will be working the museum to keep it open. And on Sunday, we'll all be pitching in to help the Fall Fest to keep it open, and then that will be the last day. And Jillian, Steve, and Will are going to go in on Wednesday and close it. Then we have to return Jillian to her regular department.
Okay, so I just sent a question, Sarah.
Can I just give a few updates on some different things that we've discovered for the museum?
Sure, absolutely.
All right. So going into next year, we've been struggling with how to do the cataloging of the museum. That's been an ongoing issue. So we found cataloging software, a program that Jillian is familiar with and can help train whoever is working on it. And it's, I believe, about $1,400 outright. There's no support payments, there's no nothing, and it will work on the computers that we have. So that will be going into the budget for next year. And that will work hopefully for a very long time and make it one stop and put everything in it that we need. So we'll, because right now we have 6 different catalogs started. That's part of the problem.
So we're going to amalgamate all of that and get everything back into order starting next year. That's
So
going to be the
everything will go
priority.
into this program then? Oh,
Yeah, and it will show us where it is, and then we can change out.
well, now
the
that's a
displays.
bonus.
Right,
Mhm.
so that's part of the problem, is not knowing where all of these things are and what we have, so we can't
Which
really
space it
build
is, yeah.
the new displays, correct? So.
Okay,
Candy inventory, I believe will go to 30% off for Fall Fest to try and clear most of that. How much do we have left, Jillian? You know, roughly?
We've got a fair amount, but it's not huge.
Okay.
And we also have, we have a prize system to hopefully help clear out a little bit more of it for the activities. So I'll explain that when we get to the Fall Fest plan.
so we're not gonna have any left over by the end of the season, is what you're saying?
There'll probably still be a little bit to go to trunk sale, but hopefully not too much.
Yeah.
So the plan is to take it to the recreation trunk sale 2 weeks later. And then whatever else, if there's anything left over, it goes to the fire department for the Halloween celebration.
Either way, we will get rid of it so it doesn't get outdated.
It's not gonna go at the end of the season, yeah, we don't keep it, because then we have mice.
And I guess we can do that next. We're discussing
Next year.
candy and stuff
But
for
it,
next
yeah,
year, yeah.
well, at the end of this meeting, before we adjourn, I'd like to give the board a few things to think about for the next meetings.
Okay,
We can do that.
so we're ready for the Fall Fest. Sarah's gonna email the form, so you probably won't see it till tomorrow morning.
Oh, that's okay.
All right,
Actually, now I have an email on my work phone, so I can check it
Okay.
whenever I want.
all right.
Yeah, so did you guys already go through the Heritage Day?
Not really, no.
Okay, do you want to do that first, or do you want to just do Fall Fest and then come back?
Heritage Day update would be great.
So, the revenue for the event was $1,423.45. So $515 from that was the barbecue meals. $753 was from the silent auction. There's still one item left to be picked up. We called and left a message. I'm gonna call again tomorrow. Donations from the day were $155.45. And then the gift shop sales were $243.55 for the day. So that brings the total revenue for the day up to $1,667.
Which is different, what is up from what's on the revenue sheet for the special event, because donations is a separate line and.
And some of the silent auction
Right.
amount came in, the next 2 weeks or so. So it
And
didn't,
candy sales go under candy sales, so it's just reorganized.
yeah. And there were 74 meals, barbecue meals sold in total, which was much higher than last year.
That was busy.
Yeah, I don't have an exact visitor count. I know we had 47 people that went into the gift shop because they were tracking their numbers. Do you guys know about how many people you think you had through the church or the hardware store?
I probably had between 40 and 50 people go through the hardware store. That was a constant. I never sat down once.
Okay,
The first time I did it, I actually had a chair outside and I would wait for people. This time I would have 3-4 groups at a time. And I got to the point where if you have any questions, I'm here to answer them the best I can.
how about you, Mary?
Oh, it was busy,
Yeah,
yes,
perfect.
almost too many at a time,
Okay,
but you couldn't. They'd want answers to questions and somebody else was waiting there, so.
so
it
if
was
we
busy.
get extra volunteers, would it be nice for you guys to have 2 people in each building? If we could work
Well,
it,
if we get the same amount of people as we had for that, yeah,
fingers crossed.
it would be nice, yeah.
Okay,
Started out slow for 20 minutes.
yeah. Especially because we're gonna have the activities that are gonna relate to the exhibit, so. I'm not sure if we'll have enough people to sort of be in there constantly, but hopefully we'll have enough people that, at least at the busy times, you'll have a bit of help.
I found that the day went really fast.
Okay,
So, well, when you're busy like that, there's people in and out all the time, as opposed to the first time I did it. And of course, I had the forge right next to it. So I'm always picking his brain on stuff that I could do at home for steel.
he left the hook, by the way, that he made that day in the gift shop, so it might be nice to do something nice with that and put it up somewhere in the store with a little blurb.
Your pop or something.
Yeah,
We donated a vest to him this year.
He's been a godsend to the museum because he shows up and he's very, very charismatic and very informed of his craft, and good at it, and he likes to share it, so.
so that was pretty much it for Heritage Day, unless the people that were there for the whole day have anything to add.
It went really well.
Yeah,
I know some of the activities weren't as popular, but
And it depends on the crowd that comes
Yeah.
through, but everybody was happy with the music and the food and everything that was going on. So we got really good comments back, especially on social media. So everything tracked really well.
all right.
Yeah, the music was really good.
It was.
It was, yeah.
So is there anything else you need for Fall Fest that you can think of?
I mean, I don't think so, unless anyone knows anyone that might like to volunteer. But we should have enough people.
I can't tell whether I'm gonna be there yet or not, so guys, it'll right to come at the last minute.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Don't find something.
So the way we're setting up the activities, we've got several, so we've got ring toss. And have a list of questions about the history of the township, the early pioneers, the exhibits that we have in the museum. And in order to sort of earn rings that they can then toss for prize tickets, which I'll explain afterward, they gotta answer the questions correctly. So that's the ring toss. We have a scavenger hunt that's based on photographs. So those artifacts are somewhere in the museum and people have to go to each building, find the photograph, and then write down a fact about it. And there's little blurbs about each one. So again, there'll be a cheat sheet, but they should be able to do that on their own. And then we've got a coloring contest. So one of our students made up some like black and white coloring pages based on photographs from the museum. And so we've got 3 prizes, one for the boldest use of color, one for the most creative family crest, and then one for the most realistic use of color. So hopefully that'll sort of cover all bases. And the prize for that will just be the prize tickets. So the way the prize tickets are gonna work is they're each worth 50 cents. And they'll earn a certain amount based on different things. So for the ring toss, the easy ones, they'll get 1 prize ticket. For the harder ones, they'll get more. For the scavenger hunt, they'll get 1 ticket for each correct answer. For the coloring contest, they'll get a few, that kind of thing. And then we also have a candy count on the side that won't get any prize tickets because it's big jar candy. But the idea is that the prize tickets will be valid on anything in the store for that day only, whether it's candy or clothing or whatever.
Can we exclude the new t-shirts from that?
Sure.
I think it's best because those ones are this year's and they're selling fairly well. So everything else we'd like to clear on it.
And then we also have a big sale table, and that will be the only thing that will cost anything. Apart from like things to purchase in the gift shop. All the activities are actually free. So we're gonna have a donation jar at every station, including in the museums, and hopefully that will sort of cover any costs of prizes and things like that. But that way it's people can give what they want, and it's just to encourage participation and people to learn about the museum, so.
So do you have a breakdown of the donations per building? Just curious.
No,
Because somebody came through the hardware store last time, and I didn't get, because it was busy. I turned around and the jar had a $50 bill in it. I went, I don't even know who to thank for that. You know, then it kind of bothered me the rest of the day. It was about a third of the way through the day, and I just happened to look and it was there underneath everything. So there was other stuff on top of it. You know, I didn't see them do it, so.
I can leave a note for Raina to keep it separate. And so that we know each station, what we got from each station.
That would be cool. Just to kind of get an idea of the demographic we're getting. Are we getting the hardware people? Are we getting the church people, the genealogy people and all of that? Because that's more the church side, right? Genealogy side. Just curious. Who knows, it might come in handy to the more information you have, the better equipped you are. And I'll try and keep a tab on how many people come through
Okay.
this time. It was hard to keep tabs because there was a constant going through.
Yeah.
You know, and somebody would ask you a question on one thing, and you turn around, there's a whole new group standing there. So, you know,
What about if they signed in each time?
We do leave the gift book out, or the guest book out for them
Yeah.
to sign. It's voluntary.
Okay,
in front of
in each building you have one?
no, just, yeah. the front door.
Yeah.
I can leave some paper and a pen so that the volunteers in the church can try and just do a general tally. Even if it's not 100% accurate, it would give us a more accurate idea.
I could put a counter on my phone in a heartbeat, you know, I just don't want to be the guy standing there with his phone out all day.
Oh, there you
Just a
go.
piece
So
of
if we
paper
just
and
leave
just
a
write
piece of
5,
paper and a
4,
pen,
and
you
then
can
just add it
just-
all up.
Yeah.
Yeah, as
Oh,
long as you
yeah.
have, I mean, you're
Tick
not
it
gonna
off
be, might not be exact.
non-obtrusively.
It doesn't have to be exact,
Yeah,
something like that, it would give you
Yeah.
a general, give us a general idea.
golf counter.
Mhm.
We have a ball strike counter in our collection. If it was an artifact, I'd let you use it.
Just, you know, just to get better numbers, that's all.
Better idea of what,
Yeah, I mean,
but most people, I think, do both anyway, but
yeah, because we currently go, like you said, so how busy were you roughly? You know, well, it was busy, so that's how we count people. Well, it was busy, I had a lot of people in there, you know, Mary had a lot of people in the church. As opposed to when we didn't, you know, so. Anyway, but it is recovering from the first time we did it after we all got back to sort of normal. The
Well,
first
last
time,
year
yeah.
it was just coinciding with too many events. We tried to have it a different time, a different day.
Yeah. So it's working better now.
Now that we're back to our regularly scheduled Heritage Day time, and yeah.
Okay,
That works best.
alrighty. So, is that pretty much it for the planning discussion? Do you have more stuff?
That's it for the planning. I do have just like some very quick general updates. I have the visitor stats from this month, and I have some collections updates. So for August, we had 50 people come just to the museum, 73 just to the candy store, and 52 to both. For a total of 175 people, and that's not including the Heritage Day stats because I wasn't sure of those. So if we add those in, that'll probably be closer to 275. And for the collections updates, the yoke that was discussed in previous meetings is now in a hardware store. It's been cataloged. And we have had someone offer us a newspaper from 1908 from Powassan. She sent some photographs. It's in good condition, and it does have a few notices from Nipissing specifically. I believe they were advertising for a collector for taxes for Nipissing Township. So I thought that might be interesting to add to the collection.
That was a Boston News?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, that's the one we used for, one of the celebrations that we had, and there's many of those out there. It's
Okay.
not original.
Oh, is it?
It's been reprinted.
Um,
So I wouldn't count on it being original, because we didn't have many of them.
Okay, I'll double check with her because it was something that the donor found in her mother's house, I believe.
Oh,
So she
well,
might not
We
have
were
known.
doing construction or something, and sometimes.
Yeah,
newspapers
if
were in
she
the
can
wall.
I
provide,
don't think it was in the walls because it was in too good condition.
yeah, because it was,
Now that I think about it, it makes more sense that it's a reprint.
yeah, yeah.
So it might still be interesting to have.
Oh,
as long
yeah,
as it's
the
labeled
information-
as a reprint.
Still the same information, it's just that we used that as a come on to, for that celebration,
Okay.
which was 1980, I think, 75th anniversary.
Okay. But even if it's a reprint, how do people feel about having it in the collection? I would suggest yes.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
because-
Yeah, the information.
Just something fun.
Good
I'll get you the rest, make sure you have the copies of the rest of them too,
That would be cool.
that we did.
So we'll talk about that afterwards when I get. when I talk to her, Make sure I know the information about the event. Yeah, so I think that's about it for me.
Okay,
We don't have to read these over tonight, so for the next day.
well, this,
We'll just introduce it.
okay, so this is for discussion, but like Chris said, we
Yeah.
aren't going to pick it apart tonight, but we will take it home and next month.
Yeah.
We'll go over it. And I know Nora's can have some input on this, which is great, but
Well, and I captured some of what you had suggested at the last meeting too, and I hoped to get, and I think I got most of it in there, but I probably missed stuff. So from the meeting that we had in the fire hall, we have those changes. That was the first draft of changes. And then whatever was said at the last meeting, and then Jillian has given us quite a few great things to put in here from her training that we've also added in. So if the board members can read it over, and then we'll come back and before October. Yeah, that's why we have to have a meeting in October. I'd like to have these adopted before we go into the winter so that we can move forward with our strategic plan.
okay, so it's all here, the statement of purpose, statement of intent, program objectives, public programs, additional services, exhibition policy, and collection management policy.
And we're still making changes after I copied it, so some of it's in red.
Yeah.
Red pen. Okay.
Yeah, because once we have the document down and we have it in good order, in good shape, and everybody agrees on it, we'll have a more permanent document.
And then it can be posted on our website and it's there for public record.
Yeah. And this is done every 4 years, is that?
That's what we've suggested in
Yeah.
here. That's one of the changes that we
Mhm.
made when we were all,
Mhm.
the first time we talked about it was when it would be reviewed. So every 4 years when council appoints a new museum board,
Mhm.
that's when it'll be reviewed.
I think the purpose of that was because the document itself was getting pretty old in between.
It was typewritten, the last one that we had, so I had to type it all. So that was.
So we could actually hang the last document in the museum.
As an exhibition.
It has some provenance.
So that was just to update.
Okay, and this was deferred from the August 2nd meeting?
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so before we move on and get outside before it rains, does anybody have anything else that they would like to add or?
Oh, the two books, the Nipissing history book and the Northern Parry Sound book were all delivered. I had a good trip around Parry Sound District.
Okay, thanks a lot for that, Mary.
I got lunch out of it in Magnanimous.
Nice.
That's,
That's
you know,
all.
that's what I love about these small communities. Like I was born and raised in a small community. And I don't think I could ever live in a large community because of that. Because of the hospitality that people have in small communities.
For sure now.
Well, I've had people sneak into my house and leave canned venison, produce. You come home and you got produce in the middle of your table or one lady lived out in our area and I had done some yard work for her. And I found out that she was a pastry chef. Fortunately, I don't eat pastries, but she left some pretty fancy pastries that you
Nice.
pay an arm and a leg for in the middle of my table. So I thought that was kind of nice.
Yeah.
That's the kind of neighborhood I live in, you know.
Oh, I will say one thing. I missed one library. They were, because they were closed and rebuilding, I kind of forgot about them. So it's Perry Township
Okay,
at Amsterdam.
I'm going to be at a meeting in a couple of weeks with the clerk from there, so I can
Oh,
respond to
okay.
it.
The other thing I wondered about was when are the repairs going to start on the foundation?
We haven't done the RFP, we didn't get the grant.
Oh,
Yeah, that was the problem with that one.
But we're gonna do it with locals.
We're going to do an
Yes.
RFP and see what the cost
Yeah,
is to
yes.
put it in the
I think
budget,
it'll be a lot different than what,
but it's not in the budget
No.
for this year,
Yeah.
so we'll have to see.
But the thing is we have to have hard numbers to
yeah,
even
yeah,
apply for the grant.
yeah.
But
we
they are
got
coming back
people-
out with that grant
Yeah.
application, they sent it to me, so the RFP, it's on the list of things to
Yeah.
get done.
Yeah.
We're hopefully hiring an office assistant soon, so we'll get more stuff.
Okay,
So I was speaking with the Deb from the Commanda Museum. So wasn't speaking to her there, I was actually speaking to her at the Alsace Church History Room. So she's going to be scanning all the information, all those 100 books that are there with all the history in it.
Okay.
And it's to my understanding that if she does that, then you should be able to pick that up somewhere out there, but I'll talk to her more about that. They got a grant to do that.
yeah,
And so they have a videographer comes with that grant, because she's interviewing all the people on the Alsace that have history there. That's the only reason I know. So I thought that was kind of interesting.
well, they're doing some really good work out there too.
Yeah, like, and I think we'd be able to access that, right? So if it was,
Our museum also did video interviews with our residents.
okay,
They've been working on that over the past few years too.
yeah, because we're all kind of the residents of the same,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
She's doing, it's not necessarily just Commanda. She's doing everybody. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, just want to make sure I'm clear on all that stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know if we're two separate things or,
Two separate museums, but we're working on building a working relationship so that we
Okay.
can be
Yeah.
helpful to each other.
okay, I
So
wasn't
that's
sure
the
if they were a museum. Sometimes they're listed as
Their museum,
a historical thing. I'm like, I don't even know what they are.
their legal name is the historical,
Okay,
but their museum.
okay. But anyway, she was telling me that, and because I said, oh, that would be interesting for this museum, because they're all the same residents,
Yeah.
so we can just have that.
We're working towards more collaboration with other entities,
Okay.
not just museums, but libraries as well. To bring that all together, because libraries have a whole pile of history there as
Yeah.
well. that
And
we
the
can
Alsace
tap
Church has
into.
crazy amount of history.
So,
It's just I thought it was a great idea if she does all the scanning. That's my job.
yeah.
And she has equipment to do it with, right?
Yeah.
So,
And I think because they're a privately owned museum, they have access to different grants than we do as well. So the
Yeah,
things
'cause
that
they
they
got a
will- the
lot.
projects they will do will probably be different from what we do. So the more we can collaborate, the more we both win.
Yeah,
yeah,
So part of the whole planning part that I would like to speak to the board about later is when we have a plan for the following year, grants need to be applied for months in advance. So
Okay.
So sooner than later, we'll
Right,
get this
So
done.
what
in-
happens,
Yeah,
what's happened in the past is when we come together in the spring to plan the season for the museum, those grants are passed.
Yeah.
And there's no programming until that meeting. That's when we start the programming. So Jillian and I were talking about the different options that we would have if we started planning now for next year.
have it ready for November.
We have it in our minutes and we have it accepted by the board, then that gives us more options to look for funding for different things if we have things we want funding for. So that piece that we're missing.
I'm just gonna throw this out there, there's no definition on it yet or anything. But if we as a board, if a program comes up that we can jump on, could we call a quick board meeting to put it in place? Even though we're like officially shutting down in October, call everybody for a quick get together and,
A special meeting can be called at any time.
okay.
so that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Well, because if it will do something like repair that foundation.
Well, that one I'm always looking for, because that's a capital repair that has to be done. So
Yeah.
that we're always scanning for that.
Okay, so what foundation are we talking about?
Under the store,
Under the
the
storage
store, the foundation.
You know where the walkway is, the white walkway?
In Nipissing,
Okay,
at the store part of the
okay,
museum
that's,
is actually kicked
Okay.
in and
okay,
Yeah, the foundation's not good.
okay.
And we've been trying to get funding to repair that. Yes,
With grants.
with grants. We're trying to not be a burden on the taxpayers, so we'll try for grants first.
Okay.
We always try for grants first. So, anyway, does anybody else have anything else that they would like to add? I just want to make sure everybody's got everything that they need to say said before I.
Jillian and I have some things. Yes, board would like to go first. We'll finish.
Sorry.
Jillian and I have some things to add, but if the other members of the board are finished, we'll go now. We'll go ahead.
Okay, go ahead.
Is that okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
Jillian, do you want to start with the?
So there's a couple of anniversaries coming up. So next year will actually be the 50th anniversary of the museum. Because it was started or opened at least in 1974. They also had a big celebration of the opening of the Nipissing Rosso Road. So there's sort of different dates for that. 1873, it was open for wheeled vehicles, and then 2 years later, it was open for the vehicles during winter. Probably getting that the other way around, but they celebrated the anniversary in 74. So again, it would be the 150th anniversary to celebrate that
Out
next
the
year.
Russell Road.
Yeah, of the sort of completion, mostly completion. Is that right?
that's.
Yeah,
what-
that's right.
Very much. All right
Yeah.
then.
Yeah,
Will it?
yeah. Steve, could you get our cars and just park?
That's what it did when I left the office. That's why I look kind of like this.
So certainly if we can collaborate with some of the museums and other sort of historic sites along that road, that would be really lovely, but that will probably involve, again, more planning and maybe planning over the winter depending on what.
So we're lucky to have Jillian working in the township in a different department, and we're calling on her skills to help us through the planning and getting some of this stuff ready, and I'm hoping to continue calling on her throughout the year to give us some kind of stability with it. So that's my.
First thing you'll have to do is get a hold of all the other communities and see what they're doing, because it's already been talked about.
Yeah,
And so I don't know what exactly is been
Okay.
planned and not planned, but you gotta go right from
Russell,
Russell Lake right up to Lake Nipissing.
so that's sort of where I'm unsure who that will, is that something I will be doing during the winter?
If you have time.
Okay.
then we
they're
can
all
set aside
closed
time.
during the winter.
But if we have.
No, this is, you get hold of the townships
Yeah,
involved.
and there's different ways for us
Yeah.
to do it, and if we have to wait for a while, that's fine,
Yeah.
even if we can get a letter or an email out.
Yeah.
And that's why Jillian has the museum email installed on her township phone now, so that she can monitor that over the close season.
I know that about 2 or 3 years ago, there was talk about it already then. And I don't know whether like who's got a committee set up or what they're doing.
Okay.
But if you get a hold of the municipality in the area, they will know what's going on in that regard.
It would be advantageous if the board was to consider what they want the Heritage Day theme to be for 2024. That will help us with our plan, with our planning of the different things and starting to advertise it early.
Because then that means that once I'm starting to talk to these institutions, I can offer suggestions of what we would like to do.
Can we highlight the 50th anniversary for that? Yeah, like,
Absolutely. That would be
That makes sense.
the best.
Yeah.
We do have some, thanks to More Family, we do have some documents from that original celebration, so we might be able to have some photos and things. We can put together like a exhibit or an outdoor exhibit.
Or we could even have a make up a banner. I was gonna say have a banner made up, but we'll probably have to do that ourselves.
We could even put up the original banner. I think it's still in
We
the
still have
township
the
office
original.
basement.
Yes, we
Yep.
do.
You do? That
Yeah,
would be.
but that is probably in your stash somewhere there because
Well,
it's,
I've
banner?
seen it.
no, not just it, all the information about it because, and it was in the newspapers.
banner.
It was a 2 or 3 day event here.
I have the banner. That's all I know for sure in the office. The rest must be at the museum already because Charles would have had that taken out of the basement.
7 years.
Yeah, gotta go.
Yeah.
But we have the banner. I know exactly where it is. I can see it on top of that shelf. So I know where that.
So our July event will be on the 5th. That's what we're gonna
I think that
celebrate.
would be nice to do.
So if we pick a date for that, we would be done.
Well, and the nice thing is when we pick dates now, if we can have all of this ready, because the township does 4 newsletters. The first one goes out with the tax bill, so it doesn't have as much information in it, but the spring newsletter we do is a booklet form, so there's 8 pages. And we can put, we're always struggling to find the things to put in because we haven't set the schedule yet for the museum, so this way it gets mailed to every property owner.
Property owner, but not people that live there.
We put it on our website, we try to put it out there, but there's no way for us to mail it to tenants because we don't maintain that registry.
So I know. it's on Facebook.
Yeah.
It's on Facebook.
We have Facebook, we have the website, we're trying to find different ways to get it out there too.
Yeah, if it
So,
goes on Facebook, that's a big thing.
yeah, we found that we've got community engagement. Our community engagement's really growing with the 4 different platforms on Facebook, so it's working.
So it's gonna be in July on a Sunday.
Wait, is Heritage Day normally in August?
Heritage Days in August.
it was
Heritage
August the
Day is usually-
13th
Oh,
this year.
yes, it was. That's right.
Yeah, so it'll be the 11th probably,
Or the 18th.
or the 18th.
It's usually the 3rd Sunday in August because it coincides with annual.
Okay,
So it's
oh,
still the
right, so that's the
18th.
18th. So shoot for the 18th.
Heritage Day would be the 18th.
Yeah.
Was it the 3rd this year?
Is it 13th?
Well, that wasn't the 3rd.
You were there.
No, but it wasn't the 3rd Sunday.
Oh, was it not?
I've already put an X on my calendar for that, so I'm committed.
You are committed. You're voluntold already.
Yeah. What's that? The X one that day.
All right, okay.
So with the 50th anniversary, though, having a special event that we've not had before in July would still be an option as well, and especially if we're starting to plan this far out.
And one of the things that we had talked about was maybe putting up plaques at historic locations in the township. So our July event could be something around touring all the plaques. And still having something at museum, but focusing on this as well.
So using some of Jillian's time again, we come up with a rough map and an idea of how many plaques, and what information to highlight for the board to
To do a
approve.
poker run associated with it.
There's lots of different things that we could do. But once we had those plaques made, that's something that we can apply for a grant for. But I need the program in place and I need it approved by the board before I can go out for a grant. Because that's what they're looking for, not something that, oh, there's money, we'll do this. It's more, this is our program,
They want it
we're
to be
looking
done.
for the funding, it has to be planned. That's why we lost it last time, so.
So perhaps for next meeting, everyone could come up with some ideas of locations where they'd like to see those plaques. Obviously, it will depend on what we get permission for. And we already jotted down some ideas. So where the Heritage Park, where the school was, where the Nipissing General Store was, where the Nipissing Hotel was.
Do you want to keep it in the general area of Nipissing Village, or are you going to spread
Include the
out?
whole township.
I think the whole township, and then if, maybe not have plaques at individual locations that far out, but then we could have a map at the museum, something like that map that we had in the township office, and have it on the front of the museum or something.
With all the spots.
Yeah, Alsace Church.
That's a
is
good
nice
idea.
spot, and yeah,
Well, we were talking about for another year, not this year coming, but we were brainstorming, it was bad. But 2 years out, maybe looking at cemeteries. That way we could incorporate the Commanda Museum could help us as being the focal point for the Commanda Museum. The Alsace Church could help with the Alsace Cemetery. And our museum in Nipissing could have the Nipissing Cemetery. Just
how about
information.
private cemeteries, like the Barber Cemetery and stuff like that,
That's the only one that I have on the record.
was that right? I haven't seen any others,
No,
that's
there's
the only
only the
one I've
one.
seen in my
Just the
travels.
one, and that one's bad, and then it's considered closed under the bereavement authority, so it's not something that we would be.
Still maintained.
Oh, yes, absolutely, we'll be maintaining.
But if we're gonna have public traipsing around, we want to focus on.
Oh,
public
yeah,
ones.
that's
It's
true.
not-
This
Yeah.
is just more for, and for the
Yeah.
genealogy and really getting into that. I know that that's a very popular topic too, so something to look at maybe for the next year. So if we were to start looking at topics, not just next year, but a couple of years out, it helps us to build those programs and build them up and make them bigger, better.
More time to work on them.
And
for sure.
funding and the different options. Those are just ideas.
I think we had one for the next year as well, the Lakes in Nipissing, and trying to collaborate with the Nipissing First Nations
Yes,
and the tourist camps.
I see that the Command Museum is starting something with the Nipissing First Nations as well.
And that's how they got one of their grants.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I can see that.
yeah, so.
What
we can-
museum is?
Command. But if you incorporate the indigenous, then you get more grants.
But we just started working with Nipissing First Nations and Keys First Nations.
Yeah,
And so we've opened up really great lines of communication with them.
Yeah.
So with that opportunity comes a chance for us to invite them in and share the heritage with us. So that's another opportunity that we have.
Yeah.
Lots to think about. So for the next meeting, we'll have the documents and any ideas for the programming, and we'll try and firm that up and have it approved before we leave. Sound fair? That's all we had, I believe. For now, that was lots.
Is that all you have? Okay, is it?
There you go.
All right, if that is all the business we have. Could move on to the next item, which is motion to adjourn. I should have Mover. Okay. Nora. Okay, so motion number 2023-29, moved by Nora, seconded by Dave, that we adjourn the meeting at 7:20 PM. Next regular meeting will be held Wednesday, October 4th, 2023 at 6:30 PM. All in favor?
Only thing I can remember about that 1974 party out here.